Why is it that one person eats whatever they want and stays slim, while another restricts their food intake, counts calories, gives up sweets, and still stares at their growing belly? It's an injustice that's frustrating, making people blame themselves and their diet. But as a doctor, I want to tell you something important. It's not about willpower or even about food. The real reason is much deeper and much simpler than it seems. Our body is designed with amazing wisdom. Every organ does its job, but there's one we only remember when things get really bad. It's the liver, a quiet worker, our body's laboratory, a filter that purifies blood around the clock, processes fats, and helps us feel lighter. Up to 1.5 liters of blood passes through it every minute. And if it slows down even slightly, the consequences are felt throughout the body. When we sit for long periods, slouch, move little, and rarely change position, something develops within us that academician Alexander Mikulin called internal stagnation. Blood and lymph begin to flow more slowly, and the liver seems to stop pumping. It doesn't hurt. It almost never hurts. It simply becomes overloaded, and what it can't process and eliminate is deposited where movement is least, in the abdominal region. This is why the belly grows even in those who eat almost nothing. You can follow the strictest diets, drink healthy smoothies, and eat broccoli for dinner, but if your liver is clogged and blood flow is stagnant, your body won't be able to properly process food. All the good stuff won't be absorbed, and the excess will be stored. This is why many people notice that the less they eat, the worse they feel and the more their belly gets. This isn't laziness, weakness, or a poor metabolism. It's the body's signal that it's lacking internal movement. The good news is that the solution is much simpler than endless restrictions, fasting, or grueling workouts. By restoring free blood and lymph flow and giving the liver a second wind, we can gently and naturally restore lightness to our stomachs. And this can be done without expensive procedures or complex exercises, with just a few simple steps that take just minutes. In the following chapters, I will explain in detail why stagnation occurs, how academician Mikulin's method works, and what you can do every day to help your body become lighter, cleaner, and healthier. When a person notices their stomach becoming denser, heavier, and seemingly bloated, their first thought is that food is to blame. But as a doctor, I can tell you, much more often, the cause lies not in what you eat, but in the way your internal filter, the liver, functions. It not only purifies the blood, but also regulates metabolism, processing fats, carbohydrates, and even hormones. A huge flow of blood passes through it every minute, and it must constantly move to do its job. But imagine a filter that hasn't been cleaned for a long time. It starts to leak less efficiently, becomes clogged, and the flow of fluid through it slows. Something similar happens inside our bodies. When we sit for long hours behind the wheel at the computer on the couch, we compress our stomachs, compressing our diaphragm, and with it, the blood vessels that feed our liver. Blood begins to flow more slowly, becoming thick, almost viscous. And this isn't immediately noticeable. The liver doesn't hurt. It silently continues to work as best it can while the load mounts. At this point, the body begins looking for a way to hide what the liver can't process: toxins, excess fat, and metabolic waste. And it does this where there's the least movement, in the abdominal cavity. Therefore, the abdomen becomes not just fatter, but denser, harder to the touch. This isn't just a layer of fat. It's the result of blood and lymph stagnating and not removing excess. If you've noticed chronic fatigue, heaviness after eating, drowsiness, dizziness, or a bitter taste in the mouth in the morning, these aren't random symptoms. These are silent signals from the liver, which it sends when it can no longer cope with the load. And if at this point a person begins to treat themselves with diets or eliminating foods, they're fighting the effect, not the cause. That's why there's no result. Patients often say, "Doctor, I eat less than before, but my belly still grows." This is completely understandable. When the liver is working at half capacity, even healthy foods, vegetables, cereals, protein, are digested less effectively. Carbohydrates cause blood sugar spikes, proteins are converted into weight rather than energy, and fats become that same internal sludge that settles in the stomach. The first step is to understand a simple truth. Your belly grows not because of food, but because of stagnation within the body. When the liver isn't moving, the body literally doesn't know what to do with the excess. As soon as we restore blood and lymph circulation, the belly begins to change on its own, gently, naturally, without struggle. Next, we'll explore how exactly Mikulin discovered a way to eliminate this congestion and why his method works even for those who haven't been helped by diet and exercise. When you hear the word exercise, many people imagine strenuous workouts, grueling loads, or complex routines. But academician Alexander Mikulin proposed something completely different. A gentle, simple movement that can get the blood and lymph moving better than any gymnastics. And the most amazing thing, it only takes a few minutes and is suitable for absolutely everyone, regardless of age or physical fitness. Mikulin noticed that walking, riding fast on public transport, being gently jolted, or even laughing loudly trigger natural micro-vibrations in the body. These mini-shocks stimulate blood vessels to work more actively, shaking up the blood and clearing it of stagnation. He wondered, could the same effect be artificially created but without the strain and risk? The answer was simple, yes. This is how Mikulin's vibration gymnastics came about. At first glance, this movement seems too simple to produce any real effect, but its power lies precisely in its simplicity. Stand up straight, place your feet shoulder-width apart, gently rise onto your toes just 1-2 centimeters, and then land sharply on your heels. Don't jump or kick hard, just let your heels lightly hit the floor. This single movement creates an internal wave that travels through all the blood vessels in your legs and abdomen, drawing blood upward and literally pushing out congestion. 30-60 of these gentle shakings, and in just a few minutes you've launched a powerful cleansing process in your body. Your liver receives a fresh influx of blood, your blood vessels open up, and thick, heavy lymph begins to flow more freely. It's like hitting a reset button for your entire internal filter. Many people trying this exercise for the first time are surprised. After just a couple of days, the heaviness under their right ribs disappears, their stomach becomes softer, digestion improves, and they wake up feeling unusually light. Why is this? Because the liver is an organ that almost never hurts, yet it reacts very quickly to movement. It seems to come alive when it's allowed to function at a normal pace. It's important to remember, strength, speed, or precision aren't required here. Regularity is key. Do this exercise morning, afternoon, and evening before bed. It won't take more than a minute, but each shake will gently cleanse the body, relieving stress on the liver and gradually reducing internal congestion. The Mikulin Method is not a sport or fitness program, but a natural way to restore the body's proper function. It is suitable for people with excess weight, sedentary lifestyles, age-related changes, and those who sit a lot. This exercise is safe, requires no preparation, and fits easily into any schedule. In the next chapter, we'll explore another of Mikulin's surprising observations. Why our stomachs are almost flat in the morning but expand again by evening, even if we've eaten very little. The answer, once again, is related to movement and blood flow, and it will help you better understand your body. Many people notice a surprising phenomenon. In the morning, their stomach appears almost flat and light, but by evening it becomes dense, heavy, and noticeably larger. And it's not just the amount of food they ate. Even if you only ate a light breakfast or drank only water, their stomach may still return by evening. Why does this happen? At night, our body is in a special state. We lie horizontally. Our blood vessels are relaxed, and our diaphragm moves freely with our breathing. In this position, blood and lymph flow actively and unimpeded as nothing compresses the liver and internal organs. Our body uses this time as a natural nighttime cleaning. The liver cleanses the blood, the kidneys eliminate excess fluid, and the intestines clear out accumulated fluids. This is why in the morning we feel lighter, fresher, and have a nearly flat stomach. But everything changes as soon as we get up. As soon as we sit down for breakfast, at the computer, or at the steering wheel, we once again press our stomach against the diaphragm, compressing blood vessels and reducing liver mobility. At this point, congestion begins to accumulate again. Blood flow slows, lymph becomes viscous, and everything that was successfully eliminated during the night begins to linger in the abdominal area. This is why by lunch and dinner many people feel heaviness, bloating, lethargy, and a return of abdominal tightness. Academician Mikulin explained it simply. The body cleanses itself at night, but during the day we hinder its functioning. This is especially true if we sit too much, slouch, or spend time in a stationary position. The good news is that this process can be disrupted by providing support to the body immediately after waking. Mikulin recommended doing 60 light heel shakes, his famous vibration exercises, just 1-2 minutes after getting out of bed. This helps reinforce the overnight cleansing effect. It's as if the body receives a signal. Continue eliminating excess. Internal blood vessels open up, the liver becomes more active, and the lymphatic system gets moving even before you sit down at the table. The next step is a glass of warm water. Warm water gently awakens the intestines, liquefies the lymph, improves blood flow, and helps the liver smoothly transition to daytime function. This small action reduces the risk of swelling, heaviness, and morning fatigue. Try starting your morning with these 2 simple habits, and you'll notice how your stomach stays softer, lighter, and less bloated throughout the day. Many patients have reported that after just a few days, the feeling of bloating after eating disappears, and their body feels like it has more room to breathe. This is a sign that congestion has decreased, and the liver is functioning more freely. In the next chapter, we'll discuss Mikulin's main principle: why fighting belly fat through diets is pointless, and what you really need to do to help your liver and the entire body regain health. When trying to lose belly fat, people usually start with the most common methods: restricting their diet, eliminating carbohydrates, stopping eating in the evening, or exhausting themselves with workouts. But if the cause is blood and lymph congestion, such measures have only a temporary or almost zero effect. The belly fat disappears briefly and then returns. Mikulin emphasized, you shouldn't fight the belly fat, but the cause that creates it, an overloaded, dormant liver. Let's take a gentle human approach. The liver is an organ that almost never complains. It doesn't hurt, doesn't cause any sudden symptoms, and is very patient. But when its function slows down, the entire body suffers. This results in constant fatigue, morning swelling, a feeling of heaviness after eating, lack of energy, and a hard belly that doesn't respond to diets or exercise. At this point, it's important to stop blaming yourself and understand your body needs help, not punishment. The Mikulin method is based on a simple idea. To restore lightness to the body, you need to restore movement within it. And this can be done without extremes. A few gentle shakes, good posture, drinking water at the right time, and taking breaks from sedentary work. This is the foundation on which liver health is built. The first rule is regular vibration exercises. Those 30, 60 gentle heel kicks you do morning, lunch, and evening aren't exercise in the traditional sense. They're for your blood vessels and liver. Your body begins to cleanse itself better. Internal pressure decreases, and the feeling of bloating disappears. Your body becomes lighter every day, and your digestion becomes calmer and more stable. The second rule is to drink water separately from food. When water enters the body in its pure form, it helps the lymph flow more freely. If you drink it with food, the water mixes with the food, slowing digestion and burdening the liver. A glass of warm water in the morning is almost like a gentle massage from the inside, awakening the internal systems. The third rule is to move every 40 minutes, especially if you work sedentary. Even 30 seconds of simple standing, light walking, or deep breathing completely changes the condition of your internal blood vessels. The liver is very sensitive to the freedom of the diaphragm, and every mini break helps it unwind. The fourth rule is good posture and deep breathing. Slouching literally puts pressure on the liver, reducing its workload. Straighten your back, take a few calm breaths, and you'll immediately feel the tension in your stomach ease. This is a simple but crucial skill that gradually restores proper body mechanics. Many people notice that when they stop fighting their belly and start supporting their liver, changes come more quickly and smoothly. Heaviness subsides, mental clarity returns, sleep improves, and the belly becomes softer and more pliable. This isn't magic. It's the restoration of natural processes that have been blocked by years of sedentary living and fatigue. In conclusion, we will summarize and remind ourselves once again, health is not a struggle, but self-care. We often look for complex solutions where everything is surprisingly simple. A growing belly, heaviness, fatigue, many perceive these as an inevitable part of age, a metabolic disorder, or the result of poor nutrition. But, as we've seen, the true cause is often hidden elsewhere: slow blood and lymph flow, an overloaded liver which requires support, not punishment with diets. The liver is an organ that works endlessly for us. It filters blood, processes fats, neutralizes toxins, and regulates sugar levels. And all this happens quietly, unnoticed, without complaint. And when it begins to ask for help, its voice sounds not as pain, but as signals from the entire body. A tight belly, morning puffiness, lethargy, and heaviness. These signs are not a reason to panic, but an invitation to take care of yourself. The Mikulin Method demonstrates that sometimes a small action yields a huge result. Gentle shaking, good posture, short breaks from sitting, warm water in the morning, all of this helps the body activate its internal self-cleansing mechanism. We don't force ourselves into diets or force us into strenuous workouts. We simply restore the body's lost movement. The longer we live in the sit, eat, sit rhythm, the more our internal cleansing system slows down. But that's precisely why even small changes produce such a quick effect. When the liver is free to function, the body does the rest. The belly softens, energy returns, the vision becomes clearer, and breathing becomes deeper and calmer. Your task is not to fight your body, but to listen to it, support it, gently assist it, allow it movement and rest. And then it will respond with gratitude. Remember, everything that moves is alive, and everything that stagnates eventually begins to hurt. I sincerely wish you ease, health, and inner peace. Try these simple tips for at least a few days, and you'll definitely feel a change not only in your stomach, but also in your overall well-being. Take care of yourself.